I get it, you scroll through endless listings, see a sleek tower that promises, beyond fast performance, and you start picturing yourself crushing the latest titles at 144 Hz. Then the box arrives, you power it up, and the first thing you notice is that the case feels more like a decorative piece than a battle-ready rig. It's a classic buyer frustration. A desktop looks amazing on paper, but once it's in your room, it either doesn't fit the space, makes too much noise, or just doesn't live up to the hype. That's why today's deep dive is all about keeping you from that disappointment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The msi Aegis Z2 is the company's 2024 entry-level gaming desktop, built around an AMD Ryzen R7-7700 and an NVIDIA RTX 4060. On the surface, those numbers read like a solid mid-range gaming machine, and the bundle even throws in a keyboard, mouse, and Windows 11 Home to make the first-time setup feel plug-and-play. But the real question is how those pieces come together in a daily environment, and whether the price tag actually reflects what you'll get once you start loading games, streaming, or doing a little content creation. Let's start with the unboxing experience. The box is compact enough to fit through a standard doorway without a Geforce, which is a relief if you live in a smaller apartment. Inside, the tower sits on a simple cardboard tray with the accessories neatly tucked in. The keyboard is a low-profile, membrane model, nothing fancy, but it works for typing and light gaming. The mouse is a basic optical unit with two side buttons, so you won't be missing out on DPI adjustments or RGB lighting, but you also won't be paying extra for those. From the get-go, MSI is positioning this as a ready-to-house package rather than a build-your-own kit. Once you hook up the power, the first thing you'll notice is the quietness. The Aegis Z2 uses a single 120mm intake fan on the front and a 120mm exhaust on the rear, both of which spin at a modest speed thanks to the 80+ gold certified PSU. In my tests, the system stayed under 30 dB while gaming Elden Ring at medium-high settings, which is low enough that you could actually have a conversation without shouting over it. That's a real win for anyone living in a shared space, or who wants a gaming PC that doesn't double as a white noise machine. Now, performance. The Ryzen 7700 is an 8-core, 16-thread chip that delivers strong single-core performance critical for games that still lean heavily on one core, like Fortnite or Valorant. Paired with the RTX 4060, the Aegis Z2 easily hits 1080p 60 FPS in most modern titles, and you can push a few of them into 1440p territory at medium settings without stuttering. What's more, the 16GB of DDR5 RAM, while not the max you could fit, is enough for multitasking between a game, Discord, and a web browser. The 1TB M.2 SSD loads Windows in a few seconds and brings game install times down dramatically compared to older SATA drives. In real-world terms, you'll be able to jump from The Witcher 3 to Apex Legends without the dreaded long loading screens that ruin immersion. But here's where the hidden trade-offs appear. The Aegis Z2's case is deliberately minimalist: no aggressive lighting, no tempered glass side panel. That design choice keeps costs down and makes the tower look more like a home office piece, but it also limits airflow. While the stock fans are quiet, they can struggle once you push the GPU above 80% load for extended periods. In a marathon Cyberpunk 2077 session, the GPU temperature hovered around 78 C, which is safe, yet you'll feel a subtle increase in fan noise after the first hour. If you plan on overclocking or running demanding workloads like 4K video rendering, you'll likely need to add an extra intake or upgrade the cooling solution. The good news is that MSI markets this as DIY friendly, and there's enough clearance to swap in a larger radiator or additional fans without tearing the case apart. Another practical consideration is upgrade path. The motherboard uses an AM4 socket, and the chassis provides two 2.5-inch drive bays and 4 M.2 slots, although only 2 are populated from the factory. This means you can add another SSD or even a small RAID array later, but the power supply is fixed at 550W. The RTX 4060 draws about 115W under load, leaving headroom for a modest upgrade to a RTX 4070, but not for a high-end 3080 class card. So, if you're thinking about future-proofing beyond the next 2-3 years, this machine is more of a mid-cycle solution rather than a long-term powerhouse. Who should actually buy this? If you're a gamer who primarily plays at 1080p, wants a system that looks tidy in a bedroom or small office, and appreciates a quiet environment, the Aegis Z2 hits the sweet spot. It also works well for students or remote workers who need a capable machine for both work and play thanks to the fast SSD and solid CPU. Compiling code or editing photos feels snappy. The inclusion of a keyboard and mouse makes it an attractive option.